My name is Tommy O'Connell. I'm 35 and I'm a psychotherapist. Life outside of work for me is either chilling at home with my partner and my dog, who I love very, very much. I love going to the sauna. I love doing sea swim. I'm very, very passionate about football and soccer. The only kind of really hit me last night when I was thinking of going tomorrow is going my 10 photo shoot. I suppose the overriding feeling is that I'm proud of doing 10 of these, and I think for me every year is different, but the process itself of what is needed to, I suppose, to be able to complete the photo shoot stays the same. I was someone who, without going too deep, and I think a lot of people feel that way when they're in their teens, and that is, I would say I was lost, but didn't know I was lost. And something for me that gave me a lot of direction in life was the gym. When I first, I suppose, became friends with Matt definitely helped me with direction in terms of like what I needed to do in the gym to require to maybe like build muscle or to get lean or just get some general knowledge. Again, previously I kind of spoke about feeling a little bit lost, maybe not knowing that I was lost. This time I definitely knew I was lost. I would say I was someone I felt like I was kind of trapped in a prison cell, and that prison cell being my mind, in terms of not knowing or understanding thoughts, feelings, behaviours, mindset. So yeah, it was a really difficult period in my life. Like any person going through any struggles or mental health challenges, there's a need for outside support, and that outside support is super beneficial to being able to guide someone through a dark period, and having the guidance of either being Matt or just having support of people in the community and to talk to. I remember I kind of used the community as kind of like a funnel to express myself. So when I was kind of going through that period, I used to write posts actually into the group and to kind of express how I was feeling, but also detailing some of the things that were helping me. When I first decided to go back to college, it was 4.5 years ahead of me, and that was really, really daunting, thinking about everything that was required to do that. But a principle that really helped me along that way, and something that helped me even through my mental health struggles before that, was just the principle of one day at a time. Even though at times it was obviously overwhelming, thinking about all these things that I had to do, that were required to do to get me to graduate, to be qualified, I had to ground myself in just knowing that I can't control all the things that I have to do over the next couple of years. I just need to control what's in front of me. When I finished up with my psychologist at the time, my feeling, my experience leaving his office that day in my last session was, wow, I'd love to be able to do what he has done for me and be able to help people. I think as human beings, our natural path in life is to evolve. If you think about a child growing into a teenager, into an adult, into an old person, that's a physical change. But for a lot of us, we tend to stay in one place psychologically or emotionally throughout our life. And when someone goes into that space, and I say it's never easy, it's not, I basically tell people on the first day, this isn't going to be easy, this will feel uncomfortable. But what I also remind them too is that it's incredibly brave and it's incredibly courageous for a person to want to go into that space, to want to look at themselves, to turn inwards, to hold them, for me, being a mirror up to them, to see the parts of them that they're either ashamed of or that they're embarrassed about, and to find ways to be able to deal with them in a more compassionate way. Like I said, it's very difficult to look at those parts of ourselves because we don't like those parts of ourselves, we don't accept them, and when we don't accept them, they have control over us, so they do. And to change anything in our life is something that is incredibly challenging, so it is, because we're creatures of habit and we fall back to old patterns, old coping mechanisms. But to be able to have the awareness to know when you're doing something like that, to actually take an action on it and changing, is incredibly challenging. Yesterday I was just going through photos of previous years, looking back to actually that very first photo shoot, to how I felt as a person on that day, my very first photo shoot, freaking out on the day, being completely nervous, stuck in my own head, to now 10 years later, seeing what me and Matt have achieved, the amount of people that we have brought through this process, and particularly in terms of me coming on as a coach over the last couple of years and just being a bigger part of it. Yeah, it's quite extraordinary, so it is.